Hello everyone, this is Vibi Kuto and I'm welcoming you to today's class. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do simple embroidery using your regular manual sewing machine. Now all you'll be needing your embroidery thread. You can use your embroidery thread or you can use the thread that shoemakers use. Okay, it depends on the quality of work you want. But for today's class, I'm going to be using the regular sewing machine sewing thread that we use. Okay, and of course you'll be needing your bobbin and your bobbin case. You'll be needing a screwdriver. Now what do we use the screwdriver for? The screwdriver is used to reduce the tension of your bobbin case. Okay, now we all know that this is the tension disc for your sewing machine, which controls the tension of the upper thread. But for the lower thread, this screw right here controls the tension. Okay, so if you turn it to your right, okay, if you're turning it to your right, what you're doing is you are tightening it, okay, and you're increasing the tension on the lower thread. If you turn it anti-clockwise, or is that clockwise, if you turn it in this direction, okay, you are loosening the tension of the thread. Okay, so I'm going to take that again. If you turn it this way, okay, you're turning it to your left, right, you're tightening it. If you turn it to your right, you are loosening the tension, and I'm going to show you how or why we need to do that in a bit. Okay, so let's get started. Obviously you're going to be needing the fabric. You'll be needing your fabric. Okay, now what I did was to get a fabric that has an obvious right side and an obvious wrong side. Okay, and I've already drawn my design, the design I want to work on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so now let's get started. You get your piece of thread. Now remember I said you can use an embroidery thread or use the shoemaker's thread. Now what you want to do is you want to have, now this is just a string, right, of your regular sewing thread. Now what you want to do is you want to have multiple strings of this thread. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do it. Okay, you have one, you're going to make this first string as long as you want it to be. Okay, so let's assume this is how long I want my string to be. Then I'm going to double it on itself, right? So now I have two strings, right, and I take it all the way to the length of the first string, yeah, right there, and then I double it once again over there. So now I have three strings, yeah, and I take it all the way to the length of the first two strings, right, then I double it once again and I have four strings. Okay, so now you need to keep doing this until you have a desirable number of strings passing through. Now any number between 4 and 10 works just fine, but then hey, there's no hard and fast rule. You can go as many times as you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to show you what to do next. Obviously this isn't what I'm going to be working with, but I'm just going to show you. So once you have your regular number of strings, what you want to do now is to wind this round your bobbin, okay, manually. You're going to wind it around your bobbin manually. Okay, all right, so that's it, all wound up. Once you have that, you insert it into the bobbin case, right, and then you pick your strings and pass it through the opening right here. Make sure all the strings go in and then slide it underneath. Now depending on the number of strings you have, you might have difficulty sliding it in. That's where your screwdriver comes in. You just reduce the tension a bit. Once you reduce the tension a bit, it becomes a whole lot easier to slide in. So once you have it in, right, all you're going to do is fix your bobbin case into your machine. All right, so I'll fix my bobbin case into the sewing machine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the lower thread. Okay, now in picking up the lower thread, you want to make sure that you pick up all the threads. You want to make sure that you're picking up all the threads. Okay, and that's it right here. That's it right here. Okay, and then you pull it out, and then once you have that, you are ready to get started. Okay, so what I've done is I've drawn my design like I said earlier. Now I used pencil to draw the design on the fabric, okay, on the wrong side of the fabric. Now when you're working you're working with yours, you're going to be using tailor's chalk and not pencil. I used pencil so that you can see the design. And then what I've done is to use a contrasting color of thread, okay. So I have red as my upper thread. But once you are doing yours, you want to make sure that your upper and lower thread are the same color. Okay, now we're used to sewing this way, right? Okay, we're used to sewing with the wrong side down, but for this particular task you are going to sew with the right side down on your machine. Okay, so the right side has to be down. So what you're going to be doing is you'll be sewing with the wrong side facing up. Okay, so now let's get started. I'm just going to get started. You position your needle as usual. Okay, now so what I'm doing, I'm using my finger to hold this thread down so that they don't get tangled up underneath. Okay, and then we get started. But one thing that you need to guard against is back stitching. You don't want to back stitch. Okay, we're not going to be doing any back stitch. I'm going to show you how to secure your threads afterwards. All right, so let's get started. And then you take it nice and slow. All right. Okay, so I'm through with the first round. I'm just going to show you. Okay, so this is what my embroidery looks like. Yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a distance, but this is the first step. So I'm just going to do like maybe 3 more rounds, and then I'll show you how to complete. And now see what's happening. I have not back stitched. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you do not back stitch, and that's the wrong side. Okay, no back stitching done. So I'm going to do like 2 or 3 more rounds, and then I'll show you the final. Okay, so I've gone 3 rounds already. I'm going to show you the right side. Okay, and this is what it looks like on the right side. Okay, so that's 3 rounds. Okay, it's nice and easy. Now you can go as many times as you want. It all depends on what your design calls for. Now obviously we can't leave this like so, and then again, you never can tell. This is fashion design. You can decide to do something creative with this. In other words, you could make this longer and maybe attach beads at the end, at the tail end or something. Just do something creative with it. Okay, now if you don't want to leave thread tails like this, what you're going to do is, okay, so this is okay, so what you're going to do is, now it's a lot of work, but then it's not impossible to do. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pass, you can use a big needle like the type that hairdressers use. Okay, and obviously this thread tail has to be way longer than this. So what you're going to do is you're going to pass this through the eye of a hand sewing needle. Okay, once you've passed it through the eye of the hand sewing needle, you pierce the fabric just close to the last stitch here. All right, in other words, what you're doing is you're feeding these thread tails through the fabric to the wrong side of the fabric. So by the time you do that, okay, you pass this through the eye of a needle and then take it to the back, this would automatically appear on the wrong side here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this thread and these other threads that you've passed. Okay, make sure you pick all the threads here. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to tie it as a knot several times. Just tie it as a knot several times to secure. Once you've done that, you cut off the thread tails, and then you're going to do it for each of the other sets as well. Now I hope that is clear. Now, so that's it. It's pretty simple, isn't it? It's pretty simple. And so that's how you do simple embroidery work using your regular manual sewing machine. Now remember, this is Vivi Couture, and I hope the video has been worth your while. Okay, so if you end up doing something like this, please, it would be nice to see it. Okay, so you could just tag me on Facebook or Instagram. Okay, so bye for now.